Talking about fast cars, I've always been passionate about cars. Right? And I have owned good cars, but not a fleet of them. In India, I had a couple of Mercedes cars, one Rolls-Royce and one Maybach. That was it. That was all I possessed.
But you have one of the largest car collections of vintage cars and stuff, right?
Now we're talking about vintage cars, which is a totally different ballgame. Because of our nationwide presence on the ground, I told my people, look for vintage cars because they were hugely neglected. Many cars went to India in the 20s and 30s. The Maharajas in India were probably the biggest customers for famous cars such as Rolls-Royce. But these cars were in a state of ruin. Given my inherent interest in cars, I said, I want to collect these and restore them, which I did. I mean, in those days, I have bought a Rolls-Royce for 50,000 rupees with a tree growing through it in somebody's backyard, deep in Telangana. I have bought cars that have been rusted, parts missing, etc., 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 all of which I lovingly restored over a period of time. That is my passion for cars. And those cars still exist. Of course, you can't export them because that's a Government of India policy. So they are in India.
Tell me about the top 3 cars which you absolutely loved out of your collection. From the vintage cars like back then which you owned, maybe in England or in India or anywhere.
In India, I had, I think, a 1931 PS Arrow, which is a fantastic American car, and which I took to Singapore. I entered a Singapore to Malaysia rally and won it. And very proudly flew back on an Air India flight with a big trophy in my hand. That was one of my favorite cars. I have a Rolls-Royce Silver Ghost that was supposedly owned by the Nizam of Hyderabad with a very unique body on it. That's a special car. I have, I think, a 1903 Darracq, which looks more like a horse-drawn carriage. It's French, with a single-cylinder engine, still runs. So yeah, these were some of the unique ones which were personal favorites, let's put it that way.